Family, welcome back to Speak Your Success in the Morning. Today is Thursday, August 21st. We're currently 26 minutes after the hour. We just got through talking a little bit about the Ozempic lawsuit and what that's looking like. And we broke that down. If you missed that, make sure you go ahead and catch the replay a little bit later. But now, family, we're about to go ahead and get ready to dive in and talk a little bit about the redistricting map and Texas, redistricting. It's a
I
little
can't
tongue
say
twister,
it.
but but ultimately, so the Texas House finally is passing the congressional redistricting map after
Mm,
weeks of walkouts, lock-ins, and arrest warrants. Then the new map could secure the GOP 5 additional seats in Congress in next year's midterms.
hmm
Democrats say they now plan on challenging the map in court. Mm.
Yeah. I honestly just want to know what it all means. What does it all mean, Dr. Jones, Attorney Jones? What does it mean? What does it mean? It's scary out here right now.
What is this? What is this? What is this all about? Okay. So in our society, we have different segments of society. You got the
Mhm,
government, you
Mhm.
got the church, which is the ecclesiastical aspect of our society.
mhm,
You got businesses, that's the corporate aspect of our society. Then you got entertainment,
mhm,
sports. I think there's about, I don't know, 7 or 9 pillars of a community, okay?
mhm,
They all hinge around different things. Okay, we just finished talking about the pharmaceutical, the legal aspects of that, right?
mhm,
And we
Yeah.
talked about the how many lawyers they need and so forth and what's at stake.
mhm,
Redlining is the same thing. Here we go. Redlining started in 1938. It was 1930s, 1930s, 38, somewhere in the 30s, when the federal government decided that we want to draw a line around certain communities and we want to redline this group. It's kind of like the red pencil in the English class. When you got that red
mhm,
pen, when the teacher came out with that red pen, boy, you didn't like that red pen. That red pen was like bad. Okay.
mhm,
Redlining is drawing a line around certain socioeconomic groups and deciding that this group is going to get funding, that group is not going to get funding. All the
Mm.
people over here, the reds, the blues, the yellows, and the pinks, we're not going to give you funding, but the green, but the purples and the golds and the browns, we're going to give you funding. That's
mm.
redlining.
Okay.
And the federal government started in the 30s, and it was all about who gets the business loans, who get home loans, and who get investment money in order to grow their businesses and their enterprises. That's red
Mhm.
line.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, bro.
No.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, so one of the things that I mean, I even heard this being discussed in church, just like you brought up how churches
Mm,
are one of the pillars of society. But I heard this brought up in church a few weeks ago, and the churches are primarily African American, right? Primarily a black congregation. So why is it that now redlining and redistricting it has the black community or black and brown population of the community in an uproar or to where they're pushing back against this? Can you give a little context on that?
Yeah. Redlining was designed originally to keep out blacks, Latinos, Mexicans, and the poor community. You remember people used to say good hair, bad hair?
mhm,
Hmm.
mhm,
Remember how people used to say good neighborhoods and bad neighborhoods?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Redlining.
Yeah.
That's redlining. That's redlining
Wow.
language. Okay. And it has churches in an uproar because if you're in business, I'm in business, and you have access to capital, I don't have access to capital. Who's going to stay in business? The person who got access to the money is going to stay in business. The people who don't
That's
have
good.
access to the funds are not going to be able to stay in business. You're not going to be able to compete. All of a sudden,
Mhm,
the game is not going to be fair. So redlining should cause you to get in an uproar, but it happens when different political groups are in power. Right now, we see that the Republicans are in power, right? And they got their man in the White House. Well, they're trying to do everything they can to change the rules all over the country so that they can have more, have a greater piece of the purse.
Hmm.
Mm.
And we're gonna redistrict, we're gonna redline, and we're gonna change the freaking rules so that we can take from the poor and give to the wealthy. That's what it really means. It's simple. It's simple. Follow the money, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
always understand the mess when it comes
Mm.
to government. Follow the money, and you'll understand the mess. Redlining has everything to do with money.
so so with the votes and everything that was happening, and when the with one of the seats, she got locked in the room. What was that about? They did want her to, because I know that most of the Democrats, they left their state, well, they left Texas, and she didn't leave, and they wanted her to sign this piece of paper saying that if she signed this paper, it would mean that someone in Trump's camp would follow her around for a certain period of time, and some other things that I don't have that article in front of me because I listened to that. But just why lock her in the room? What does that actually mean?
One of the things we as Americans often overlook is the power of our voice.
Mm-hmm.
And when we speak truth to power, we have to pay a price for it. What did this mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anything power can do to the pitiful or those who are perceived as pitiful,
Mm-hmm.
power is going to do it. Okay, let me not be so philosophical. Bottom line is, what does all this mean? It's sensationalism, and it's using the law to exploit your power. Those that are in power, the Republicans that are in power right now, they know they're in power and they know they got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Democrats know that they're on the other side of the deal here with this particular situation, right? So
Mm.
whatever vote that they can come up with, any way they can manipulate the rules and so forth to bring emphasis to their point, that's what
Mm-hmm.
they're going to do. And that's what we
Mm-hmm.
just saw a demonstration of. But kudos to those who stand up and speak up, even though they may get locked up. When you let your voice be heard and known, you have definitely gone on the record of speaking out.
Hmm.
My.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah,
John.
and then one of the other things that I saw was because just as you were talking about redlining and really breaking this down, is that it's going to that not only is it going to undermine minority voices, but then also it's going to like dilute the Black and Hispanic voter power,
That's the
right? And
goal. That's the whole goal.
oh man,
That's the
oh
whole goal. And they changed the rules. Yo, this is nothing new. I was in college. I was at Northeast Louisiana University one time ago, right? And the population of the black campus was about 20%, 15%. All right. We managed to get the queen, the maid of honor, whatever they call them, and all 7 girls on the homecoming court was all black.
Mm-hmm.
We managed to do that.
Hmm.
Okay.
with 20%
Oh, at
population, what?
20%. Okay. Okay.
20% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guess what happened the next semester?
They changed something.
They changed the rules.
Yeah.
They
Oh wow.
changed the rules. Okay, they changed the rules.
Mm,
Now, so after they changed the rules, then the next semester we got the queen and the maid of honor was black.
Mm.
Guess what they
Mm.
did
mm.
this semester?
Mm.
They
Mm.
changed
Change
the
the
rules.
rules.
They
They
changed
changed.
the rule. Yeah.
So
Wow.
we gotta play by the rules, understand the rules, and continue to push forward for right. I'm not saying that either one of them, left or right, is right, but whoever's in power, they're gonna manipulate the rules, be it the left or be it the right. So
Wow.
let's play the game.
But wait,
Gotcha. And
even hearing even hearing this though, it makes me have a thought that what like with what you said, that your population at your school, of course, it was 100% of a population, but if 20% of the people got on the same page, y'all were able to make change and able to make impact. So that makes me think of like what's often said about the church, how 20%, how there's a 20% that give that takes care of the majority of the church typically, right?
20, that's good, man. It's probably more or less 10 or 15, but go ahead.
Well, but even that, but then that drives the church, right?
Yes.
So understanding that in like understanding here and now that if we become get on one accord, we become more vocal, we
Mm-hmm.
get in alignment with one another, then things can actually change.
Yeah.
We got to play a more diversified game.
Mm,
The black and white game is outplayed. If you
Mm.
can be divided just simply on the basis of black and white, we're gonna lose every time, right?
Right.
So we got to play a different game. It's time to upgrade the strategy. We got AI, we got the internet, it's a whole different age right now. And if we keep playing by what we played in the 30s and the 40s, we're gonna lose every time. We got to play an economic game. We got to
Mm.
play an economy game. We got to play a game of finance. We got to play the money game. And we got to teach our children to not just be black Americans, but be Americans.
Yeah. Yeah. That's strong right there. That's true. And Jonathan, we talked a little bit about redlining earlier on a little bit of Tuesday and on Wednesday because we watched the Amanda Seals,
oh
the
yeah.
one radical versus 20 conservatives, and that was one of her claims. Was that oh my gosh, all these words.
Systemic racism.
Yes, all these words. Systemic racism does exist, and within her claim, redlining was a point, which is
Okay,
ultimately
so
true.
it exists. Yeah. Okay, what's the solution? What are we doing to deal with it? How are we pushing back on it?
I can't remember her pushback. Do
I,
do you have a thought about a solution, Attorney Jones?
Yeah, the solution is we got to say, okay, this happened, this is real, but here's where we are today, and here's how we're gonna move the needle and get in the game and mainstream ourselves instead of
mm,
sidelining ourselves. We gotta
Mm,
mainstream ourselves. We gotta become just as much as anybody else in this country. I'm as much an American as anybody else is American. Period.
mm. And Jonathan, that brings me to a point when we were talking offline and we were like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine watching, surrounded, just like how that conversation is so thick and heavy to listen to all the time. And
mm,
just Amanda Seals, her whole entire, I wouldn't say her whole entire personality, but just her mission is always about educating Black people, doing what's best for us. You are a Black American. Our
mhm,
our, our experiences are different from other Black people outside of the U.S. And so
yeah.
she's always talking about it. She's always advocating about it. She's always informing people about it. And you made the statement, you were like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine listening to this all the time. And it's like, and then
Exhausting. Yeah.
yeah, it's exhausting. And then when I said, I'm like, that's the point. Like, that's the point, is that you have to continue to talk about it. You have to continue to be in the midst of it, because otherwise, ain't nothing gonna change. Or ain't nobody gonna hear us.
That's
And
true.
that's a big problem in our communities. That's like, you say something, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it's too much.
We need to hear ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We need to hear ourselves. And when we hear ourselves, what are we telling ourselves? And what are we saying to ourselves? And ultimately, it's the
Mm.
elephant with the chain around his foot. Cut
Mm-hmm.
the chain
Mm.
off the elephant foot and let the elephant move. And what the elephant does? Nothing. He stands there because mentally the elephant is already in prison.
Yeah.
We are imprisoning ourselves and we're waiting on somebody else to validate us, to move us, or to do something for us when we are the enemy. And we need to stop it and just begin to realize the benefits, the blessings, and the bonuses of America instead of thinking about what they did to us in 1930. Yeah, they did it. And now they're trying to take it out of the damn books. You
Yeah.
can't erase that stuff.
Yeah.
It will not get erased.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All
I
right.
agree.
And I
All
think,
right.
Ah!
Oh,
well,
I love when he gets hype. I love it. I love
but
it.
then
I love it.
but then also I think there's something needs to be said here also, as well as just even thinking back to the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement, oftentimes, yes, your Dr. Martin Luther King and your Rosa Parks, and these different influential African American individuals are often credited for moving that forward, but that did not come without their other their other white counterparts, and other we need to partner with other people, and ultimately, like you were saying, that make it an American issue, not just black. Because yeah, I can show up somewhere and say, man, I'm black, and they're holding me back from this, or they're holding me back from that. but what are the people in my entire community? What are they dealing with? Because in my entire community, it's not just black, but we also have white, Latino, Latinx. And when we began to have those conversations, that then now is going to create an opportunity to where other people want to get skin in the game because they're saying, "Oh, that applies."
But what
What you
about
got?
when she said on the video when that guy kind of said what you're saying, I don't see when she said a white family and a black family, if they have the same issues, like, am I explaining that right? You know what she said, Jonathan?
Well,
When
so
she was
what,
like,
so look, but look, I'm not negating the fact that there isn't different struggle for different cultures. But what I'm just saying is, well, I didn't say it, but I'll come back and say it now. Is that, well, first, so one, it's going to require work because if
mhm,
if I'm black and then I have a white brother that I'm trying to have a conversation with, like there needs to be a level of understanding first that we're playing a different game, right? We're coming into the game at different areas, and you can provide something just as well as I can provide something. But then going from there, how can we both get what we need and want together? Does that make sense?
yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes they don't want to understand. But yes, Attorney Jones.
Yeah. Well, neither do we understand what some of the Mexicans or the Latinos or the Asian people are going through. And we don't
Mhm,
understand it. And sometimes we don't even think about it, right? Because their plight is a little bit different than ours.
mhm.
So why should we expect white folks to understand what we're going through when they ain't even aware of it? They don't even come up on their radar. Okay. Okay. So how can we move the needle? We can move the needle by putting ourselves in situations where we are with white people and people that are different from us and helping them to see how our lifestyle and their lifestyles are somewhat different, but in reality, most of our lifestyles are the same.
Mm,
Mm, mm.
mm.
And then,
They
and
got
then,
the
and then,
same problem.
Man, and this is good there, and this is so true because for me, when I was in grad school at SMU, we had an assignment in one of my classes to where we had to go and put ourselves in the shoes of somebody else. So there was a young lady
Mhm.
who she was Muslim, and I've never been to a mosque before. But I said, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go over to the mosque, and then I began to realize that the Muslim faith and community is not that much different from the community of Christians and believers in that way. Like there are a lot of similarities. Like there's a
Mhm.
lot of similarities and
Mhm.
a lot of overlap, but we don't know that if we don't take the time to go and experience, take the time to go and get a little bit uncomfortable, take the time and have some conversations without being so easy to get frustrated. Yeah, they're
And
gonna ask you a little
offended,
bit.
yeah.
They're gonna ask you a little bit about your hair. They're gonna
Yeah,
ask you certain things that you don't want to ask. I mean, but but
you're right.
but but also. But also, I will say this, and this is a general statement. But us as Black Americans, I would say in certain situations that I've been in, I believe we're naturally more respectful, and we typically proceed with caution in well, for me, I speak for myself, right?
We ain't had as much
Say it
privilege.
again. Say it again, Jonathan. We proceed with caution. You froze.
Yeah. So I said like typically, or in my experience, I'll proceed with caution, or I'll be slower to or excuse not with caution, but like approaching situations just respectful. I'll approach situations respectful. Like if I see, I'll greet that person or I'll extend my hand, like different things like that. Versus going into a situation, I don't want to say looking to be offended because I don't believe that's the case, but either way, conversation needs to happen is what I'm
Being
saying.
offended is a choice.
I know that's right, and I know that's right. And what you're saying, John, is you're saying you're a little bit more sensitive to a situation.
Gotta
You're
be.
I'm
yeah.
not. Yeah.
We get our
Psychology degree, bachelor's in psychology. You know what I'm saying?
come on now. We get our expectations. We got these expectations. Okay, here's the deal. Let's see how this resonates, guys and ladies, guys and ladies. Nothing has meaning until you give it definition.
Mm.
Exactly. Exactly. I totally agree.
All
I
this,
agree.
yeah, and John and producer Britt, you may not know this, But I used to hate white people.
This is true.
Mhm.
God had to put me in a white church to get that out of me.
Mm.
And I went to a white church for 12 years
Mhm.
and learned to love white people.
Mm.
Last night, here in Birmingham, Alabama, I was at a church where there was over 13,000 men on a Wednesday night, all men. Most of them was white,
Mhm.
about 95%, 98%. Bottom line is, y'all, there's a lot going on out here, but we got to take responsibility and put ourselves in the mainstream. And I know that I got some colleagues and white people that I know that will hurt somebody for me and Loretta.
Mm.
Mm.
That's what we need. And stop all this dividing and black and white and us and them. Go find you some good white folks that love you, who don't like what Donald Trump is doing, because some of these white folks are embarrassed by that stupidity. That
Yeah.
man has no idea what it means to be poor and to live like most people in America live. And whites
Mhm.
are embarrassed by a lot of that stuff. Go get into some relationship with those people and love on those people so they can demonstrate to you the love of Christ and show you what a different side look like. That's where I'm at, producer Britt.
I agree. There's some good white people out there. There's some good white
Mm.
Yeah,
people for sure.
you know it is.
Yeah, I know. I grew
Oh
up with
man.
some. I grew up with some. There's some good white people out there. Some
Oh
good
man,
white
that's
people
hilarious.
out there
Cause I
for
know
sure.
one now. I know one right now on the top of my head, man. I know one.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of good
yeah,
white.
yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of.
man.
Mhm.
Okay,
But
okay.
also, y'all, we gotta realize that our political system is designed to divide.
Mm.
True. True.
Designed to divide. So
Mhm.
don't drink the damn Kool-Aid. Don't do that. That stuff, vote, be a part of it, support, be involved with it, but stand. If you're a believer and a person of spirituality and of faith, then love people and be what you want to see, give
Mm.
what you want to get, and live what you want to leave. Be the solution.
That's it.
That's
That's
it.
it right there, Dad. I don't think we could. I don't think could have closed it out no more stronger than that. Y'all, people, man, as you see, the value of insight and the value of legal counsel, and if you want to have legal counsel go to bat for you, you need to reach out to Attorney Fred Jones, Fred Jones ESQ on Instagram, or you can go to fredjoneslaw.com. Okay, fredjoneslaw.com, and you can reach out, reach out, man, because
Mhm.
this passion. This passion is how he comes. Okay, and this passion comes when he sees people who have been affected and people who have done wrong, because that's where my dad's heart is. So man, Dad, Attorney Fred Jones, thank you for coming on the show and blessing us with your gift, with your passion, and everything like that.
Thank you, producer Britt. Thank you, John. Glad to be
Yes.
here as always.
All right, man. We're about to get ready to get out of here. About to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get ready to get out of here. But we'll be right back with our final thought with more speaker success just after this.